ahead with the next slide. What are the advantages of sinusoidal waves? Because we speak of single phase AC, three phase AC in electrical terms. What is that exactly? How is that wave look like if I speak of a voltage or if I speak of a current? You can see on the page I have put some images. The first one is sinusoidally varying quantity. The another is triangularly varying about an axis. The another is a squarish wave. The another is trapezoidal. No doubt, all the waves are alternating in nature because they have about x-axis, y-axis. If I position, have a positive set of data and a negative set of data collectively representing a wave. It has a positive set of data and a negative set of data. So upper half of the x-axis, lower half of the x-axis, you will find spread of information. Then it is connected because we don't know what is a waveform. Waveform is a collective joining up of instantaneous values of a quantity, or waveform is a graphical representation of a quantity under your definition. So like that, I have a waveforms. I not mentioned it's a voltage or a current. Simply I have clipped some images only for the type of the wave, sinusoidal, triangular, and square, trapezoidal, like that. So among these, which of the wave pattern is practiced and more popular in the present power system? That's what I wanted to connect to you. Then the first and foremost is sinusoidal waves are very popular. Why they are popular? Even though they are alternating. Alternating means a set of positive, set of negative, a half positive, a half negative. Cyclically, in the periodic manner, it is tracing positive, negative, like that. Even square, even the trapezoidal. Why sine wave only? There comes a question. So that is justified by this statement. Advantages of sinusoidally varying quantity. That is, the first one is generation of alternating voltage is very easy by the dynamic induction principle. Now the question comes, you might have seen, for electromagnetic induction to occur, you require group of conductor and a magnetic flux. So there should be a relative motion between group of conductor and a magnetic flux, as and when change in flux linked with the conductor occur, there we experience an induction of EMF. That is nothing but Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Whenever group of conductor or a conductor or an electric circuit experience change in flux linked with that, we call it as flux linkages. Whenever we experience that, there will be induction of EMF. On that context of electromagnetic induction, whether induction is occurring in a circuit, whenever a current in that circuit changes, causes the linkage of fluxes with itself, we call it as a self-induction. And there is a change in current or a flux developed by a one circuit, causing a change in EMF in the neighbor circuit, we call it as a mutual induction. Or whenever a group of conductor is rotating, moving, traversing in a magnetic field, and there will be a linking of flux and cutting of flux kind of phenomena is noticed, we call it as a dynamic induction. A dynamic induction is a phenomena wherein group of conductor were made to revolve, travel, or go around in the magnetic field. That kind of induction we call as a dynamic kind of induction. Invariably, I have coined you self-induction, mutual induction, and dynamic induction. So dynamic induction is the principle which is used to develop sinusoidally varying quantity, because the equation which govern that induced EMF in the group of conductor is given by like Em sin theta or Em sin omega t. By the very fundamental of dynamic induction, induced EMF is sinusoidal by nature. Hence, we call it as generation of alternating sinusoidally varying quantity is very easier because the principle dynamic induction helps us. Then, what are the other advantages then? Easily transferred using transformer to another circuit. It means to say, you want to transfer the power from generating station to load center. Now imagine, so far away they are situated. From there to the point of application, how do you transfer the power? Definitely you need to step it up and transmit it. Whenever there is a fall of voltage at a certain definite distance, again make a substation, set it up, then make step up of the voltage and transmit. It means to say it is easy to step up and step down and retransmit it over a long distance. That is due to the application of transformer. Because of that, AC waves, sinusoidal quantities are very popular. Therefore, I can say transmission over a long distance is possible by the use of step up and step down application by the advent of transformer. The another good advantage of sinusoidally varying quantity I can title as sine wave preserve its shape truly sine even though there exists disturbance. Then what is the meaning of this? For this, let us understand a locality. Locality connected by a interconnection of transmission system, distribution, household, corporate office, whatever so. There is a delivery of power from generating station and it is being distributed to the locality. In the locality, let us experience some faults, some problems, some failures. So those problems, failure, marginal or full, that we call as a disturbance, electrical disturbances. Fault means what? Line is being cut and fallen to the ground, single line to ground fault, and a line to line touching to a tree or anything which has fallen on a conducting material. We call them as a faults. In generally, all such variations, undue expectations on such operation we call as a disturbance. On any disturbances in a system, the supply system being sinusoidal, it will not change the shape of its wave. That is the true nature of the sinusoidally varying quantity. By chance, if instead of sine wave, we preferred triangular wave of alternating supply. No doubt, you can generate, you can transmit, you can distribute. Experience this third phenomenon, which is that any disturbances occurring in a system where input to that electrical input to that system is triangular by wave, then any disturbances in the system would definitely matter its shape. It may become sawtooth wave. It may become a discontinuous connected triangularly varying wave. That originality of the wave won't be preserved. This is 100% expected and proved. In that due respect, the shape of the sine wave preserves sinusoidal. It is not going to be the same for other. They are going to de-shape themselves, deform and get connected to some other pattern of wave. Therefore, they will lose the originality itself. Hence, in the system, wherever there exists a disturbance, disturbance is natural because of fault, variation, disconnection, connection, all kind of disturbances are considered. So, on such disturbances, shape of the input wave should not get varied or should not get affected. That is true with the sine wave, not with the others. That's true. In that due respect, sine waves are popular. The another one important aspect is it produces less interference to nearby communication lines in case of transmission of power. Now, this is a very interesting phenomenon. When I generate a power at generating stations, definitely I cannot consume every megawatt what I produce. I must transmit it to a end user who is situated very far away from the generating plant. Therefore, transmission through conductor, tower, line to connection, end to the user, it is natural. Along with that, communication setups will be there for the mobile communication, or you can say telephone communication, any video signaling, any kind of signals. When I say communication, data transmission, definitely they are there in and around our living space. Therefore, those communication signals are a system working at higher frequencies, definitely get affected by the frequency and transmission of power what through our transmission layout we are doing. If at all transmission is considered to be sinusoidal by approach or shape, its interference, we call it as disturbance to the neighbor communicating line by switching action. That is called as interference. Therefore, transmission deforming their data, affecting their data or information, modifying them, and error inculcation into their system is very negligible if the transmission of power takes place through sinusoidal kind of pattern. If it is so with the triangular or a squarish or trapezoidal, there is an definite induction of such unwanted information into the communication setups. Those communication setups get really affected by this induction. They carry wrong information. Probably they communicate to the end devices wrongly. That could lead to an error like that. In that due respect, interference causing the information modification, affecting the data and nature of the communication pattern by the electrical power transmission should be minimum as possible. That is true with sinusoidal. Hence, sinusoidal waves are very popular because of their low interference. Then the next one is it produces minimum disturbances in electrical circuit during their operation. When I say look into a motor, what is a motor? Electrical motor is a machine which convert electrical power into useful mechanical work. When a motor in an industry is found or in a household is found, so that if the system of input delivery to your premises is sinusoidal, the operation of the equipment is very safe, very nominal, and you will not find any such major noticeable disturbances in the machinery as well as by the operation of the machine to the system back. The same thing if you experience with the triangularly varying input supply, square wave input supply, or a trapezoidal wave based input to a system, motor, generator, or a transformer, or any other gadgets operating with that pattern of wave nature. They experience distortion in their operation. They experience pulsations. The motor experiences jerk, vibrations, undue heating, hunting. All such phenomenon are observed when input to the system is non-sinusoidal. If the sinusoidal wave is experienced in the system, such disturbances will be very minimal in the system, and from the machinery when they are in put in service, their impact on the system is also very minimal. In that due respect, the sinusoidal waves find very great application among the comparison. 10. It results very low iron as well as copper losses in transformer and AC rotating power or given output. It means to say, when I design electrical machines, I may design a motor, I may design a transformer, I may work with a generator for a certain application. When I work those components, equipments designed, if they are supposed to function in a scenario where input or what the system they are working in which is non-sinusoidal. Let us experience non-sinusoidal. A motor is made to work in non-sinusoidal, triangularly wave, squarish or rectangle, trapezoidal wave kind of input. What will happen to iron loss and copper losses in the system? When there are group of conductor and winding and insulation, magnetic material, core, everything is utilized inside the machinery built up. Definitely, there could be a loss due to I square R that we call as a copper loss. Yes. And we call iron loss. Yes, iron loss is due to magnetic material. We categorize it as hysteresis loss and eddy current loss. So these two losses, iron losses, when I characterize, hysteresis loss is due to material chosen. I may use silicon steel. I may use perma alloy or any other alloys which have very high permeability. When they have such a property, magnetic material, there will be a loss in the material due to magnetization and demagnetization. Magnetization, demagnetization, that we call as alternating. Because of that forward, reverse magnetization, there will be a loss per cycle happening in the material. Then that loss should be very minimal. So with respect to a certain machine built, If the input is changed, input is sinusoidal, what is the quantity of loss you will find? Then remove that. Input is triangularly varying for the same machine. What kind of loss you account, compute it and keep ready. And square and trapezoidal. When you compare the net loss occurring due to material as a selection, you will find sinusoidally varying input wave process, very low loss with the heading iron. So very low iron losses are accounted in the machine when an input supply is sinusoidal. Therefore, when I say iron loss, it could be hysteresis loss and eddy current loss. Therefore, sinusoidally varying waves are very popular in this respect. The next is integration and differentiation of sine is sine only. Then what is the use of this thing? Whenever we have any physical system can be electrically modeled like a resistor, inductor, capacitor. When we model it, we can apply some functions. We call it as a forcing function to see how this physical model, after mathematically represented into electrical domain, function, respond for a certain input conditions. What is that expected condition? How it is going to behave? We call it as mathematical modeling of any physical system and studying its behavior for some forcing functions. If the forcing function is sinusoidal, then the integration of the sine is a sine, differentiation of a sine is sinusoidal. Differentiation of sine is a cosine, but it is a shift of phase only. But shape is sinusoidally shifted. It means to say mathematical modeling, analysis of system behavior for the expected change in input and expected output. It's very easier if I have forcing functions in the form of sinusoidal. Hence, sinusoidal waves are very popular in the engineering domain. So these are the few lists of advantages which really make sinusoidally varying quantities popular among the triangularly varying, squarish and trapezoidal. Okay, hope I'm audible to you all. Somebody reply me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, thank you. So this is the reason why sinusoidally varying quantities are preferred in the current day to day. Hence, I have a sinusoidally varying quantity with respect to single phase. I have a single phase AC. With respect to industry and higher transmission, I have three phase and others. Okay. Then how do you generate AC then? My chapter in this module stand with single phase AC only. Then how do you generate single phase AC? What are all the prerequisites of generation of single phase AC? There could be a one question. Explain generation of single phase AC with the help of a sketch would be the example. Or explain generation of single phase AC using square frame technique. I am just marking here square or rectangular frame technique like this way. So it is composed of a pair of magnet N and S, uniform magnetic flux density between that, and a square frame is just shown a red half and blue half shown to you, a red and blue half of the frame. A square or rectangular frame is shown to you like A, B, C, D edges, vertices you can imagine, and edge AB which is under the influence of North Pole, if I speak, say reddish by color representation, let it be connected to one of the highly conducting copper slip ring, a circular ring mounted on the shaft which is insulated from the shaft. There is no electrical contact with the shaft, it is insulated but physically connected to conducting frame part AB like that. The another slip ring, similar disc like highly conducting copper ring mounted on the shaft, insulated appropriately, getting connected permanently to the another half of the square frame or a rectangular frame. If I call AB, this must be CD then. Then edge CD is connected to slip ring another. So these two slip rings are mounted on the shaft of the machine. This is called as a rotating machine concept, where magnetic field is stationary, group of conductor in the form of a square frame arranged, and this is axis of the shaft of the machine. Suppose if it is driven by suitable prime mover, when it is being driven, this frame keep rotating in this periphery. When it keep rotating, it keeps cutting the lines of flux. Now comes a question: what is a generator? Generator is an electric machine which converts mechanical form of energy into useful electrical form of energy. So we are trying to understand the principle of working of generator, wherein a magnetic field which is stationary, a uniform magnetic flux density exists, lines of force emerge from north to south, which are invisible, but arrows were shown just for our ease of understanding. The frame is just laid in the horizontal frame of reference. It is just a horizontal. The area of the square frame or rectangular frame is in the horizontal axis of this. Then this is coupled, shaft of this is coupled to a some prime mover, turbine or engine or some hand driven crank, something like that. If this crank is driven suitably and at a particular RPM, this AB edge, CD edge keep continuously cutting the lines of flux. Then there will be a cutting of lines of flux and induction of EMF is noticed in the edges AB and CD respectively. So so-called induced voltage creates a current if there is a closed circuit. Therefore, these slip rings, which are said to be connected by a graphite or a carbon brushes, which are shown on the rib of that. You can see here some brush, graphite or carbon like brushes are shown, which are keeping always the good contact with the slip ring and get connected to the external circuit, where I can show a resistor or something like that. There is a sinusoidal voltage generation. It means this frame is being driven. Let's see, a small video runs here. Are you able to see this video? Let's see. Hope my screen is visible to you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now the same thing which I was speaking here, a square frame is made with the two slip rings and carbon or graphite brushes are mounted, and there is a representation of a voltmeter. Just to show you what is the voltage, alternating voltage is produced. Certain RPM is managed on the shaft, and I'm just varying this slider here. 50 hertz I would like to generate the AC. Then this should be driven by a suitable prime mover like that. So I'm driving it once again. So I'm just making 40 hertz. What is the RPM required? And 50 hertz. What is the RPM required? Like that, I'm making it. So there is a cutting of lines of flux by the conductor edges, AB edge, CD edge. Continuously, they keep on cutting the lines of flux. Induced EMF will flow outward if the circuit is closed. So current will flow whenever there is a closed circuit. So this way, a sinusoidal varying quantity is noticed. I show another animation is also there. I just run it. Let's see. Can you see this? How it is being shown? A simple sketch is shown. Hope this page is visible to you. Hope you are able to view this
Yes,
video. Are you able to listen the audio also from this?
No, sir.
No, sir.
You are not able to see the audio of that, correct? No problem. It means you should have a pair of magnetic poles, which, yes, is a rectangular frame of conducting material, and edges are taken for the end connections. So let there be A, B, C, D labeled. One of the cutting edge AB, another cutting edge CD, and the ends were brought out here. This is a coil of ABCD, lines of force. Okay, lines of force. This is to show you two slip rings. each edge of the frame, AB edge to one, CD with another. We call it slip ring. This is to show a graphite or a carbon brush contact. So one slip ring with the one connection AB, another with the CD. Then make a circuit outside. Just a spring wire, flexible spring wire like this way. EMF. When you measure the voltage over here, there will be a measure of induced EMF here. So like this, one sketch is required for us to understand. This is an axis of the generator. Yes. In what direction you would like to revolve it by a prime mover? You have to mark. Okay. This is how a simple sketch can be understood. Then once I have such a sketch, hope I am back to the screen. This kind of generator concept, a square frame or rectangular frame in the uniform magnetic flux density, being driven suitably by a prime mover, keeps the cutting edges always cutting the lines of flux, and there will be induction of EMF. We should recall back what is the principle of induction. Whenever the magnetic flux being cut by the conducting material or a conductor or a group of conductor keep on cutting the lines of flux, so there will be induction of EMF. So-called induced EMF, if the circuit is made closed outside, will flow. Then when we connect an electrical resistor to this point, I can see the induced wave can have a sinusoidally varying pattern. This we call as a voltage across. Suppose if I say AB, this is called VAB only. You may ask me, what is VCD? VCD is exactly complement of this one, like this. Opposite to this, it completes it. Then what is VABCD? Like a KVL. Voltage in a closed loop is 0. Therefore, we speak of VAB only. Therefore, VAB is a plot of voltage experienced or induced in a conducting edge AB whenever it is under the influence of north pole, and whenever that is under the influence of south pole, because when it is being driven uniformly at a certain RPM, definitely it come under the influence of north pole and south pole alternatively, and there will be induction of EMF in the conductor by a set of value relatively opposite to each other. If the set of data of induced EMF obtained in the conductor when it was under the north pole, if it is plotted like this, it goes to the peak and diminish back to 0. So one half cycle of induction of EMF takes place here. When the same conductor take a complete observation under the influence south pole, similar set of inductions will notice in that to complete the one cycle. It means to say the conducting edge AB, which is here, if it takes 180-degree shift, it is under the influence of north pole now. As per this marking, it should go down like this way in the anti-clockwise fashion. Slowly it will go down, go down, go down, go down, and come under the influence of south pole. By that time, blue shade will be other side, red will be under the north pole, south pole influence. That is the meaning. The coil has taken 180-degree turn. It has reached from 0 induction of EMF in that, where increasing attains a peak value. When the perfect the plane of this particular frame, when it goes to 0 to 90 and 90 to 180 degree, there will be a complete one half of the cycle tracing here. Then second half of the induction is traced by that whenever that conductor undergo south pole's influence. We will see when is that maximum, when is that minimum, when do cycle crossover takes place shortly. Meantime, you can see another narration which is shown here. Another narration which is shown here, which shows the frame is exactly perpendicular to this position. This is in the horizontal plane. You can see this frame ABCD, which is drawn here, which is standing perpendicular to this in this diagram, north, south, perpendicular to this, like this. Just to show you how books to books there will be a change in representation. So therefore, he has marked some arbitrary positions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like this way. Some points were marked on the instances of its rotation and observe when is that maximum, when is that minimum, like that. So this is how generation of electricity by the square frame mechanism takes place. Now if you are really interested to know when is that induced EMF in the conductor frame is highest, when is that lowest, when all it is rising tendency, when all it is falling tendency, if it is to be understood. Let us understand the area of the square frame. The area of the square frame, if it is perpendicular to lines of force. What do you mean by that? This frame I should feel as if like this, standing vertical, and red is say above, blue is below. If you can imagine in this pattern of observation. So red is above, below which the bluish line, if you can imagine, that time I would speak area of the square frame. Area of the rectangular frame is perpendicular to lines of force. At that position, induced EMF in the conductor is 0. Can you see here? This frame standing position. This frame standing position show you this frame is as if red is up, blue is down, or blue is up, red is down. Other way also. Area of the frame must be perpendicular to lines of force. At that arbitrary position, the lines of flux cut by the conductor and flux linkages have to be quantified. For electromagnetic induction to occur, there should be a change in flux linked with the conductor. Change in flux linked with the conductor. And we write it by Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. E equal to N d phi by dt. You might be remembering. So it is proportional to rate of change of flux linkages. N phi, inside that d phi by dt, N you take inside. It becomes d N phi by dt. N phi refers flux linkage. D N phi become by dt rate of change of flux linkages. It means to say whenever maximum flux linkages occur, there will be a maximum link EMF induction. It means to say whenever the area of the square frame is perpendicular to the lines of force, no doubt there is a cutting of lines of flux from the AB edge, which is in the vertical plane, CD edge in the vertical plane. Lines of flux cut is maximum, but flux linkages are minimum. Minimum the flux linkage, minimum the induction. Maximum the flux linkage, maximum is the induction. This is the link we need to refer. I would otherwise say whenever the area of the square frame is perpendicular to the lines of force, it means standing like this diagram. Standing like this, then area is perpendicular to the lines of force. Induced EMF in the square frame is 0. That's what is the beginning point here. Then if the frame start revolving degree by degree, 1 degree, 2 degree, 5 degree, 10, 15, like that, start instantaneously tilting from position to position, position to position. Definitely when it was perpendicular lines of force, induced EMF found 0. The reason for that is amount of flux cut in this arbitrary position is highest, but flux linkages are 0. 0 the linkages, 0 the induction. That is the meaning. This plane is referred as 0 induction plane. I repeat back, whenever area of the square frame or a rectangular frame is perpendicular to the lines of force, amount of flux cut is highest, amount of flux linkages are very minimum. Because of very minimum flux linkages, induced EMF is also close to 0. Hence we call the position of the frame whenever it is perpendicular to lines of force as 0 induction plane. That is the point 0 marked here. You can see this when it is a perpendicular to lines of force. Dotted lines you can see here. In this particular, you can move, see my mouse which I'm hovering on the screen. Lines of force and a frame is viewed like this way, and it is rotating in either the direction. As per this, anti-clockwise direction is shown here by arrow. Lines of force perpendicular to the area of the square frame, then induced EMF is 0. This is a marking. When this frame takes slowly from the perpendicular position to increasing, become in the plane of the flux, like this diagram which I have drawn you. This is called as area of the frame is in the plane of the flux horizontally, which is drawn here. This we call as area of the square frame or a rectangular frame is in the plane of the flux. In this arbitrary position, you can see here, this edge cuts the lines of flux. How about the other edge? It is not cutting. That is the meaning. When the area of the square frame is in the plane of the flux, amount of flux cut is minimum. Amount of flux cut is minimum, but flux linkages are maximum. Therefore, more the flux linkage, more the EMF. You can see here this arbitrary point when the plane of the square frame or rectangular frame is in the plane of the flux, highest linkages are experienced. Therefore, highest value of peak induction is noticed, and you can mark this. When this frame again makes the next position, you can see here it was upside down. When red was on the top, blue was on the ground lower. You take upside down slowly, you can see B has come and red has gone down. Again, area of the frame is perpendicular lines of force. Whether red is up or blue is down, or blue is up or red is down, area is perpendicular. That makes the minimum flux linkages. Again, I will see zero induction. By that time, this square frame had made one complete half cycle movement. You can see here 0 and 180 degree. You can see here A has become downside, B has gone upside as per this representation. 180 degree turn has come. In between this 180 degree, let us magnify and view. When this was AB on the top, induced EMF was 0. When AB took a 10 degree, 5 degree, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 90 like that, it took a turn from the arbitrary position. Every degree turn, the incremental value of induced EMF increasing and became highest when it was like this in the plane of the flux. This is the highest point. When it took another go away from this, again 10 degree, 10 degree, 10 degree gone out, then you will find from the peak decrement and become 0. This way, this induced EMF is by sinusoidal. That's what the dynamic kind of induction makes. The dynamically induced EMF is sinusoidally varying in fashion, E equal to EM sin theta, like that. In that due respect, the EMF observed at each discrete instant, 1, instant 2, we call them as instantaneously induced EMF. Such instantaneously induced EMF at 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, when I collectively join them, it represents a sinusoidally varying wave. Profile of the connectivity must be sinusoidal. Then when 180 degree turn is taken, half of a cycle is complete. Now we can see further again, if we undergo the red colored conducting edge, which was under the influence of North Pole, a set of positive data I got. When the same red conducting material, which is marked for the understanding, undergo the influence of South Pole, similar set of induction in the negative domain or opposite to this will be experienced. And when it make a complete one rotation, begin from this point, take around and come back. It's called one complete cycle, that is 0 to 360 degree turn. You can see AB, again AB has come here. So this way the profile of sinusoidally varying quantity is obtained by simple square frame of generation or rectangular frame of generation, like this way. Each instantaneous points which I observe, point number 1, what is the value? Point number 2, what is the value? 3, like this way. When I join them, the profile will be sinusoidal in that. So this is how sinusoidally varying quantity is easily generated by dynamic kind of induction. For me, a sketch which I have shown in a video, a pair of magnet drawn, how a square frame looks like. This is how the standing image. You can just refer, you can get into the requirement. This is how generation of single phase AC takes place, and a wave at typical fashion can be rewritten. When is that maximum? When is that zero? Can be understood little easier from this. Okay. Then when I go here, another small animation I have. Now what I have done here, the conducting edge A, B, C, D. Just observe this. I am here at the point. At this point, when the area of the square frame is say perpendicular, conducting edge is here. You can see this conducting edge. I go back. When I cut this, I'll see red dot here. I will cut this blue dot here. Like that, one sample animation A. At this point, frame is vertically up, vertically in the plane of the flux, perpendicular lines of force. You are at the point A. When the conductor is moving parallel to the lines of flux, no voltage is induced at this point. This is moving like this way, like this way. So there is a induction of EMF in this 0. Let's shift this point here. Let's see. I am moving my next slide. I have moved the conductor 90 degrees. Now the frame has become in the plane of the flux like this way. So you have moved to the point B. Induced EMF is highest. From point A to B, when you are moving the frame, induction of EMF was incremental, highest. So you reach the point 0 to peak value, which is the point B. When I move from peak value to the C point, move this decremental till this point. I will see. Just see how it comes. I have moved from this point to C, means I was at the peak value, crest. It decreases and come to 1/2 of the cycle length. A, it was here, A become upside down, and which was here has come down like this way. 180-degree turn has been noticed. Therefore, you completed 0, peak, and a 0 again. Again, I further move forward till this point. Second, here I got first half of the induction. When I move the conductor completely, second half of the induction is possible. Just keep observing C dot moving to D here. Clear? From this point, incremental negative plane up to highest. Then again, if I move further, it will retrace the A point. Can you see? Now, if I imagine this mechanism by a conducting frame, a coil is placed, coil is driven, then this should experience this kind of phenomena, which you can see. So I can show you the same phenomena with this kind of approach here. Okay. So therefore, this is how a simple concept of single phase AC generation can be reviewed by this mode here. So I will just make another review of this, and I will stop because next teacher may be waiting for the classes, and I will just make the revision of this only. So here, when a generation of single phase AC takes place by a square or a rectangular frame or mechanism, a bundle of conductor in the form of a frame should be there, and we call them as a cutting edges. One side, a AB side of cutting edge, and another side, CD side of cutting edge, like this way. Then edges must be brought out for the terminals on the slip rings. Slip rings should have carbon or graphite brushes touching to them to get the external connection from that to the void, like this. So therefore, I go back here, this one only, and I will just run the another view of that one for your immediate approach. You can just see, I just stop here. You can just see how that particular wave is progressing when the frame is exactly making a tangential movements. I can just, I made it in the plane of the flux. Induced EMF must be 0, decreasing, like this way. You can just see. Okay. Clear? I'm just making manually operated. Almost I'm bringing to the in the plane of the flux. Correct? You can just see. This was almost perpendicular lines of force. Induction must be 0. This is almost in the plane of the flux. Induction of EMF must be highest. Experimentally, we can see that. Okay, like this. Just I was making it to show you. So by this, what we learned today, the principle of advantages of sinusoidally varying quantity, principle of generation of single phase AC quantity, having understood how generation takes place by a square or rectangular frame of mechanism, how is that minimum and maximum points on the representation of the wave appear, and how instantaneous positions were understood. When is that induced EMF maximum and minimum as a boundary? Whenever the area of the square frame or rectangular frame is perpendicular lines of force in this arbitrary position, amount of flux cut is highest, linkages are minimum, hence induced EMF is zero. In this type of representation, amount of flux cut is minimum, flux linkages are maximum. That is the reason either positive peak or a negative peak is the one of the arbitrary position. So then in between those 0 and 0, either a rising and falling pattern of a positive set or the same conductor undergoing opposite pole influence, similar set of induction in the negative domain is visible. This is how things work in the electromagnetic induction and generation.